Robyn would be doing her makeup forever and doing our kids' hair and doing her hair and making sure everybody looked good.
Robyn's $32,000 credit card scandal is back, and this time, the other wives allegedly want their money returned, down to the last dime. It's the sister wives' money mystery that never quite disappeared, and now it's back in full force with whispers of repayment demands, private documents surfacing, and a quiet storm brewing that may finally go public. If the name Robyn Brown still triggers a flash of frustration in longtime viewers, well, this story's about to add gasoline to the fire.
And then Cody would sit there and praise how they looked when we'd been sweating and slaving over the freaking food and cleaning up the campsite.
According to multiple insider leaks, the infamous charge that once got brushed off as family business is no longer being kept in the shadows, and several of the women, especially Janelle and Christine, are reportedly done with letting it slide. As one source close to the Brown family put it bluntly, they paid. Robyn didn't. And now they want it back. Let's rewind just a bit. The scandal first caught quiet attention several years ago when a private family financial discussion allegedly revealed that Robyn had racked up a credit card bill totaling $32,000. The charges? A mix of household upgrades, child-related expenses, and what one source described as discretionary decor.
Cody and Robyn don't just get to benefit from things that I contributed to.
But here's the kicker. According to rumors, Robyn didn't cover it herself. Instead, the bill got absorbed by the family fund, which was, at that point, still partially being contributed to by all the wives. That meant Christine, Janelle, and even Mary were paying down a balance they never agreed to. And it wasn't a one-time oopsie either. The balance allegedly accrued over months, maybe longer, and some of the wives only discovered the full total after the fact. Now, new buzz says the women have had enough. There was a silent agreement to let it go for the sake of the show, claims one insider. But now that everyone's financially independent, Christine and Janelle are reportedly comparing notes, and they're both furious. And here's where it gets wild. Sources say one of them is preparing to confront Robyn, not with feelings, but with math. There's talk of a breakdown sheet, literally a line-by-line statement of every dollar she allegedly charged, and how much each wife contributed toward cleaning up the debt.
We never knew what the other wives were getting money-wise. We just understood what we had, but Janelle saw it all. And Janelle doesn't say much, and she's very tight-lipped. But she's like, I saw where all the money was going.
One rumor even mentions a formal refund request, complete with interest calculated over the years. And Christine, she might just be gearing up to bring receipts. As in actual receipts. But the real shocker, these whispers aren't just swirling privately anymore. Producers are allegedly aware of the renewed tension and debating whether to work it into the next season or handle it off screen. Robyn, for her part, is said to be blindsided by the resurrection of the debt and feels targeted, though she hasn't commented publicly. Not yet. But Janelle might not give her that luxury for long. Because if the rumors are true, she's not just angry, she's mobilizing. And that's when it got even messier. When the original credit card charges first surfaced, the reaction inside the Brown family wasn't outrage, it was silence. Sources say there was no dramatic confrontation, no group decision, no formal conversation at all. Instead, Cody allegedly stepped in as mediator, brushing the whole thing off as a temporary imbalance. One insider claims he even told the wives something along the lines of, "We'll work it out later. What's important is we stay unified." But behind the scenes, that so-called unity came with a price tag, and it allegedly landed squarely on Janelle and Christine's backs. They were, at that time, still contributing to the family's shared pot.
How much money Cody took and how much money Robyn took was a lot more than you were taking. And it was more than anybody else was taking. I'm like, why is that fair? And then Cody would just decide to buy tons of whatever assets that he would call assets, and he would just go spend family money on that.
And according to whispers, Cody quietly instructed the family accountant to cover Robyn's charges using joint funds with no clear plan to repay anyone. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The women didn't even find out about the full $32,000 balance all at once. According to sources close to production, it started with Christine noticing unusually large withdrawals hitting the communal accounts she had access to. Janelle allegedly flagged the same discrepancies and asked for clarity, only to be told it was for the greater good of the family. And Mary? Well, rumor has it she was kept almost completely in the dark until it was too late to intervene. They were told not to make it a big deal, a source explains, because there was already tension brewing and they didn't want to look fractured on camera. So instead of open discussion, the wives were allegedly guilted into letting it slide. But here's what viewers never saw. Christine reportedly asked for a formal ledger. She wanted to see exactly what was spent, where, and by whom. And what she allegedly received was a vague summary of household upgrades with no itemized detail that only made her more suspicious and more determined to document everything moving forward. Janelle, ever the numbers girl, is said to have started her own personal accounting file, tracking every shared expense she paid that was never reimbursed. The figure? Unverified, but one insider claims it could now exceed $40,000. And here's the thing that really stings: the timeline. Some of these charges reportedly happened when Christine and Janelle were cutting coupons, working side gigs, and trying to fund their kids' school fees, while Robyn was allegedly redecorating. One friend close to the women said it bluntly: they were struggling, Robyn wasn't, and nobody said a word. That silence? It's what the women are now calling the ultimate betrayal, because it wasn't just about money, it was about trust. And just when it seemed like the truth would stay buried for good, word started spreading that new documents exist. Documents that prove Robyn's portion of that bill was never repaid, and that she may never have intended to, because according to someone who claims to have seen them, it was always treated as a family gift. And that's exactly what set Janelle off next. For years, Janelle played the quiet team player. She was the practical one, the steady one, the wife who kept spreadsheets while everyone else traded drama. But if the whispers are true, that reputation just shattered, because Janelle has allegedly had enough of footing Robyn's bills and pretending it's fine. According to a close friend, her patience didn't just wear thin, it snapped. And now she's reportedly putting her foot down with something far more powerful than words: a formal repayment demand. It's not about revenge, the friend explained, it's about respect. And for Janelle, that means financial accountability. The breaking point? Sources say it wasn't one big thing. It was death by 1,000 withdrawals. Janelle has reportedly been combing through years of bank records, calculating exactly how much she's paid into the shared family fund versus what she received back. And when the final numbers were tallied, her jaw allegedly dropped. Her contributions, according to insiders, weren't just higher than expected, they were nearly double Robyn's. That stung. But what pushed her over the edge was discovering through a series of text exchanges that Robyn might have never intended to pay back the $32,000 balance. One unverified message reportedly said, "It was a household expense, we all benefit." To which Janelle allegedly replied, "Not from your throw pillows." The sarcasm was real, but so was the fury. Friends say Janelle has since drafted a 2-page letter outlining every cent she's owed, complete with due dates and interest calculations. One source even claimed she borrowed legal phrasing to make it clear this wasn't a request, it was a bill. And while the document hasn't been made public, insiders whisper that its tone is surprisingly professional, firm, but not emotional. Janelle doesn't want to fight, the source said. She wants fairness. And if she can't get that through Cody, she's going straight to Robyn. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Word on the street is that Mary might have received a copy of that letter too. Not as a target, but as a quiet ally. Apparently, Janelle added a CC line at the bottom and included Mary without warning. It was her way of signaling, "You deserve to see this." After all, Mary had also contributed to the family fund during those years, and while she's never been as outspoken as Christine or as sharp with receipts as Janelle, insiders claim she's been quietly keeping her own mental tally. Now that letter is allegedly circulating behind the scenes and causing panic. Producers are said to be aware. Cody is reportedly furious, and Robyn? Sources claim she's gone completely silent. She didn't expect this. One insider explained. She thought Janelle would grumble and move on. She didn't think she'd come with spreadsheets and legal language. And just when Robyn thought it couldn't get worse, Mary started making calls of her own. Mary has always been the emotional wildcard in the Brown family. Withdrawn, guarded, sometimes defensive, but never quite out of the loop. And now, according to insiders, she's begun reevaluating just how much loyalty she actually owes Robyn. Because while Mary might not have raised her voice during the original credit card scandal, she certainly remembers the tension. And with Janelle's alleged repayment letter landing in her inbox, Mary is no longer just observing from the sidelines. She's doing math quietly, meticulously. And for once, she's not keeping her findings to herself. She may not confront, a source close to her said, but she absolutely calculates. Mary knows every penny she put into that family account, and she's not about to let it go unnoticed. The timing couldn't be more sensitive, with her B&B struggling to stay profitable, especially after tourism dipped and staffing costs rose. Mary's reportedly been rethinking every dollar that ever left her bank account for someone else's luxury. One friend claimed she recently went over old account records with a fine-tooth comb, tallying what she contributed during the years when Robyn's $32,000 bill was quietly paid off. The number she came up with? Allegedly just over $8,000, all of which she believes she had no say in allocating. That could have kept her business afloat another season, the friend added. And now she's realizing nobody ever asked her permission. But Mary isn't rushing into a dramatic confrontation. That's never been her style. Instead, insiders say she's consulting quietly with a friend of a friend who happens to be a financial advisor. The goal? to figure out whether any of those joint expenses are legally challengeable or if they can at least be documented for future protection. And here's the real twist. One tipster claimed Mary recently placed a discreet call to an Arizona lawyer, not to file anything yet, but to understand her options. When asked whether it was connected to the credit card dispute, the source smiled and said, "Let's just say it wasn't about expanding the inn. There's another layer too." Robyn has long seen Mary as her most loyal ally, the one wife who always took her side, even when the others pulled away. So if Robyn finds out Mary is asking questions, let alone seeking legal clarity, it could trigger a full-blown emotional crisis. "Robyn doesn't handle feelings of betrayal well," said one person close to the family. "If Mary flips on her, that might hurt more than Christine and Janelle combined." And the truth is, Mary may already be halfway out the door emotionally. One insider swears she's been journaling for a potential memoir. Another says she's asking producers whether she's obligated to continue filming with Robyn. But the most shocking claim? That Mary has secretly joined Christine and Janelle in a shared spreadsheet tracking every communal debt. And as it turns out, Christine may be ready to blow the lid off the entire thing. Christine was the first wife to officially walk away, the one who packed up her dignity and headed for a new chapter on her own terms. But just because she left the marriage doesn't mean she left the mess behind. And according to insiders, she's been sitting on a goldmine of proof, actual receipts, bank statements, and screenshots that she allegedly kept as insurance. Now, that vault might just be opening, because in what sources are calling a deliberate warning shot, Christine is reportedly preparing to go public with select documents that detail how Robyn's $32,000 credit card bill was paid and by whom. For those who know Christine, this move doesn't come lightly. She's warm, loyal, and generally optimistic, but she's also methodical. And back when she first suspected the financial playing field was tilted in Robyn's favor, she allegedly began taking screenshots of joint statements, highlighting unusual withdrawals and requesting monthly breakdowns from their financial coordinator. "She didn't do it to stir the pot," said one friend. "She did it because something didn't feel right, and she didn't want to be gaslit again." Those screenshots, according to unverified sources, show Robyn's name directly linked to certain transactions, and Christine's contributions used to cover them, including luxury home goods, high-end clothing purchases, and one payment labeled simply as family services. Balance forward. The kicker? Rumor has it Christine may be planning to leak a handful of those documents during her upcoming book tour. Not in a bitter takedown, but as part of a broader message about financial independence and fairness. She's not trying to destroy Robyn, the insider explained. But if Robyn keeps pretending there's nothing to answer for, Christine might force the conversation. And viewers are already speculating that a reveal is coming. At a recent signing event, one fan asked Christine point blank if she regretted paying into the family fund. Christine smiled and said, "Let's just say I've learned my lesson, and I kept the paperwork." That quote is now making the rounds online like wildfire. Behind the scenes, producers are allegedly in damage control mode. Christine's book contract reportedly includes a clause about not disclosing protected show content, but Christine's camp argues these financial records were personal, not production-related. She paid those bills out of her own pocket, one friend emphasized. If she wants to talk about that, no one can stop her. But that doesn't mean it won't have consequences. TLC is reportedly reviewing its legal options, especially if Christine's leaks stir up contract complications or force on-air confrontations with Robyn that were never planned, and Robyn, sources say she's already panicking. She's calling everyone, one insider claimed, trying to figure out what Christine has, how much is coming, and whether it can be stopped. But it may be too late for damage control because the receipts are real, and Christine, finally, is done staying quiet. And Cody, he's watching it all unfold, with his wallet in crisis mode. Cody Brown has always projected a certain bravado when it comes to finances, big dreams, big land, big vision. But behind the scenes, insiders say the reality is far less stable. According to one source close to the family, Cody's cash situation isn't just tight, it's brittle. And with Christine allegedly threatening to leak receipts, Janelle demanding repayment, and Mary now crunching her own numbers, the cracks in his financial foundation are widening fast. Add in a shrinking TLC paycheck, split across fewer wives than ever, and what you get is a man scrambling to hold together a lifestyle that no longer makes sense. Let's talk numbers. Cody's cameo side hustle, which once brought in thousands per month, has reportedly slowed to a trickle. Interest has cooled, bookings have dipped, and fans who once paid to hear birthday shoutouts now seem more interested in watching the drama unfold for free online. Meanwhile, his portion of the sister wives' paycheck after taxes, agent cuts, and what one insider called separate living costs for Robyn's castle isn't going nearly as far as it used to. Rumor has it he's missed at least one private school payment and has quietly deferred a vehicle lease in recent months. Then there's Coyote Pass, the land he once called the family's future. That plot alone is now rumored to carry over $300,000 in unresolved development costs. Insiders claim Cody has explored refinancing options, but was denied due to inconsistent income streams. He thought the wives would all be paying in, one source said, but they're not his wives anymore, and he's not their problem. So when Janelle's demand letter reportedly arrived, followed by whispers of Christine going public, Cody didn't lash out. He allegedly panicked. Some say he called Robyn into the kitchen for an emergency money meeting. The goal? Find out if there's any chance Robyn could quietly repay some of that $32,000 bill herself, just to shut it all down before it hits headlines. But here's the twist. Robyn allegedly pushed back. She's long claimed that the spending wasn't personal, but family-based. And according to insiders, she told Cody that paying it back now would look like an admission of guilt. And that may have been the final straw. One tipster close to production claims Cody recently drafted a proposal, an actual written suggestion that each wife formally waive past financial grievances in exchange for final separation terms. The proposal allegedly includes clauses about mutual silence, non-disparagement, and a clean break clause tied to potential upcoming tell-alls. Unsurprisingly, no one has signed it. In fact, Janelle reportedly laughed when she saw it. Christine allegedly called it a bribe with fancy font. Meanwhile, Cody is said to be weighing the nuclear option, liquidating a portion of Coyote Pass to settle his debts and move on. But even that might not be enough, because Robyn, she has her own plan now, and it's not about paying anyone back. It's about flipping the narrative entirely. If Cody's instinct was damage control through legal proposals and financial reshuffling, Robyn's alleged response couldn't have been more different. According to sources close to the family, Robyn is gearing up for what one insider called an emotional PR makeover, not through lawyers, not through refunds, but through a carefully crafted charity stunt aimed at reframing her image as the misunderstood matriarch instead of the villain with a $32,000 debt trail. And if the whispers are true, this move may already be in motion, with producers on high alert and the other wives rolling their eyes behind the scenes. Insiders say Robyn has been quietly planning a film segment where she announces a personal donation to a children's education fund. Something touching, noble, and family-oriented. The amount? $10,000, allegedly earmarked from her personal income. On the surface, it looks like generosity, but when you break it down, critics are calling it a diversion tactic. She's not paying back what she owes, one source pointed out. She's trying to buy good press with less than a third of what she allegedly spent. And the numbers don't lie. A $10,000 donation sounds significant until you stack it next to a $32,000 unpaid balance that may have drained communal funds from 3 other women, 2 of whom were struggling financially at the time. Here's the kicker. Robyn reportedly plans to tie this donation into a segment about moving forward with love and unity. But insiders close to production claim Christine and Janelle were not notified or consulted and are livid. One insider said Christine privately vented. She's trying to clean her conscience on camera while still pretending we were never her creditors. Meanwhile, Janelle's reaction, allegedly, a single word texted to Mary. Unreal. Even Robyn's inner circle isn't sure it'll land well. Some say she's convinced this gesture will win over viewers, especially the ones who still see her as a devoted mother, just trying to keep the family intact. Others believe it will backfire, big time. She's basically lighting a match on a powder keg. A friend of one of the kids said, "People want accountability, not charity optics." And with fan forums already buzzing about possible manipulation, the backlash might be faster and louder than she expects. As for Cody, he's reportedly supportive of the idea, calling it a great way to reset the energy. But one crew member allegedly muttered under their breath during filming prep, "The energy doesn't need a reset, it needs a refund." Whether the segment airs or not remains to be seen. Producers are said to be weighing the fallout risk. If they push it through, it could reignite fan backlash that's already bubbling. If they scrap it, Robyn loses her last attempt to soften the narrative before Christine's alleged receipts hit daylight. And just off camera, fans are already circling, posting, screenshotting, organizing, because the internet remembers everything, and it's not letting this one go. If Robyn thought a sweet donation and a soft focus camera angle could calm the storm, she miscalculated badly, because the fans, they're not buying it. The second word leaked that Robyn was planning to reset the narrative through a $10,000 education fund. Social media erupted, and not in applause. Comments flooded in faster than producers could moderate. Hashtags like Robyn refund now, receipts please, and justice for Janelle started trending within hours. By the next morning, over 30,000 posts were circulating across Reddit, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, all tearing apart Robyn's attempt to spin a financial scandal into a sympathy story. And it's not just about the money anymore. It's about the pattern. Longtime fans have spent over a decade watching Christine, Janelle, and even Mary tighten their belts while Robyn's house stayed warm, polished, and fully stocked. Now, with unverified receipts and alleged payment breakdowns making the rounds, viewers are starting to connect dots, ugly ones. One viral post pointed out that Robyn's $10,000 donation was less than what she allegedly spent on a doll room alone. Another user claimed to have screenshotted footage from a past season where Cody promised to reimburse Christine for everything she gave and then never followed through. The outrage isn't performative, it's personal. Many women in the fan base, especially those over 50, are seeing their own stories reflected in the wives' financial sacrifices. They remember the days of stretching grocery budgets, working overtime, and keeping families afloat while someone else got the credit or the credit card. One comment with over 12,000 likes read, "Janelle had to sleep in an RV, and Robyn was shopping for matching sofas. I'm not letting this go." Another said, "This is what emotional labor theft looks like. Pay them back." Even Mary, who has traditionally been a polarizing figure among viewers, is getting unexpected support. Her B&B's Yelp page reportedly saw a spike in 5-star reviews overnight, with comments like, "We believe you," and "Let them call you bitter. You deserve better." Meanwhile, Janelle and Christine's fan pages are experiencing what one mod called a digital revival. The tone is less nostalgic, more mobilized. There's real momentum behind the idea that TLC owes these women and that Robyn's silence only proves the guilt. And just when it looked like things couldn't escalate further, one bombshell dropped. A verified fan account on Instagram claimed they had access to unreleased footage from season 17. Footage that allegedly includes a tense off-camera moment where Robyn and Cody discuss hiding the true cost of her spending from the others. No confirmation has surfaced yet, but that hasn't stopped fans from demanding answers. TLC has issued no comment. Robyn's reps remain silent, and the cast? Radio silence, at least for now. But with digital detectives digging and the receipts going viral, the pressure is building fast. And according to legal insiders, it may already be too late to stay ahead of it. Behind the scenes of all the social media noise and public side-eye, a much quieter but far more serious shift has started to unfold: legal positioning. And while no one has filed a formal lawsuit yet, insiders say it's no longer a matter of if, but when. According to multiple sources close to the family, conversations with lawyers are already happening, privately, strategically, and with an eye toward documentation. Because this isn't just about a $32,000 credit card anymore, it's about a paper trail of communal funds, verbal promises, and what some are calling years of unequal financial burden. One person familiar with the situation claims that Christine, Janelle, and possibly even Mary have all spoken with legal counsel in recent months, not necessarily to sue Robyn, but to clarify their options. The question isn't just, can we get a refund? It's, can we legally prove we were misled? And that's where things get tricky. Most of the family's finances weren't formally contracted. They were built on trust, and that trust has allegedly shattered. But the twist? Some of the financial decisions may have involved actual signatures, shared accounts, P.O. box access, and tax documentation. If even one wife can produce a record showing she paid off a balance on Robyn's behalf, the implications could be massive. One Phoenix-based attorney who spoke under anonymity broke it down this way. You don't need a written contract to demonstrate unjust enrichment. If someone benefited at your expense and there's proof, they could be held liable, especially if they never intended to pay it back. That phrase, unjust enrichment, has reportedly been mentioned in more than one private consultation. And in Arizona, where at least some of the financial intermingling occurred, the courts have been known to side with plaintiffs in informal family disputes when documentation is compelling. But legal action isn't the only storm brewing. There's also talk of discovery, that pivotal phase in a lawsuit where both sides are forced to turn over records. And that's where Robyn could face a brand new nightmare. If Christine or Janelle files, even in small claims court, Robyn might be legally required to disclose her full spending history, including the breakdown of that $32,000 bill. Not just the furniture or decor, but where every single dollar went, and when. As one source close to production said, if that ever sees daylight, it could reshape how fans see Robyn forever. Producers are reportedly panicked. A lawsuit, especially one among ex-wives, could put TLC in the uncomfortable position of either filming the fallout or ignoring it entirely. Both choices come with risk. Ignore it, and viewers will call foul. Air it, and Robyn could walk from the show. Cody? He's allegedly trying to mediate behind the scenes, hoping to shut everything down quietly. But insiders claim his credibility with the women is gone. They're not looking for his permission anymore, one friend of Janelle said. They're looking for resolution. And unless Robyn acts fast, that resolution might come in the form of court papers, served on camera or off. And as the legal dust starts to swirl, the stage is set for a final confrontation that's been building for years. The cameras are being cleaned, the lights are being tested, and if the rumblings are right, TLC is prepping for the moment that's been quietly building for years, a face-to-face reckoning between the original wives and Robyn Brown. No more passive digs, no more confessional nods. This is shaping up to be the kind of confrontation that doesn't just shift a narrative, it could end an era. According to production sources, Christine and Janelle have both agreed to a financial transparency summit filmed in a neutral location, possibly Mary's B&B, under the condition that no ambushes are allowed. But insiders say what's coming isn't about surprises, it's about receipts. And Robyn, she may finally be cornered. The big question now is whether Robyn will show up or send a statement instead. Sources say she's gone quiet, strategizing with Cody as one insider put it, and debating whether appearing on camera in the midst of fan backlash and alleged legal whispers is worth the risk. But if she doesn't show, that absence could speak louder than any explanation. Fans are done with excuses. One longtime viewer posted, "If she's got nothing to hide, she'll sit down and open her books. Otherwise, guilt confirmed." The buzz around this confrontation is already sparking viewing party threads, countdown clocks, and even fan petitions asking TLC to make the full footage public. And what about Mary? That's the wild card. Some say she's preparing to mediate. Others claim she may throw a curveball, standing up for herself for the first time in years, naming exact dollar amounts she lost, and finally releasing her grip on the Loyal One label. What's clear is this: Mary is no longer holding her tongue. Whether she sides with Robyn, calls for restitution, or walks away entirely, viewers are ready to follow. Christine, for her part, is reportedly bringing a small manila folder full of spreadsheets, emails, and annotated bank statements. Janelle, rumor has it she's bringing the original letter, the one Robyn never answered. The one with a due date, the one that now carries interest. And as the women circle back to the same table they once shared as sister wives, the mood is no longer sisterly. It's surgical, precise, long overdue. Because this isn't about pettiness, it's about principle. And it's not just about Robyn's $32,000 credit card. It's about the hundreds of sacrifices, the late-night stress, the silence, and the realization that maybe, just maybe, the favoritism everyone sensed was actually something much worse: financial exploitation dressed up as family unity. Now, viewers want your take. Do you believe Robyn will ever pay back what she allegedly owes? And should Christine and Janelle take legal action if she refuses? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching closely. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more behind-the-scenes fallout as this story continues to unravel. The next video on your screen is waiting, and trust me, you won't want to miss it.